Welcome to our immigration briefing show, everyone. Today, we're diving into some lively stories from around the world. First up, the vibrant DiverseCity Festival in Summerside, P.E.I, brought together people from all walks of life to celebrate their cultures through music, food, and traditions. Quincy Cumayas, a young girl from the Philippines, was among the many enjoying this colorful event, which aims to foster community bonds and cultural understanding. It's a fantastic reminder of how diversity can create joyful, lively gatherings. Next, we turn to Australia, where tragic road accidents involving Indonesian visitors have sparked calls for stricter driver licensing rules. The heartbreaking story of Robby Yahya Bachtiar's sister, Armitha Safitri, who lost her life in a car crash, highlights the risks faced by international visitors unfamiliar with local roads. Community groups and officials are now pushing for better driver training, safety education, and comprehensive crash data collection to protect these temporary workers and prevent future tragedies. Lastly, despite ongoing political debates and controversies, Donald Trump's approval ratings in the U.S. remain surprisingly steady at around 40 to 42%. Polls show a core group of supporters who continue to back his policies, especially on immigration, even as discontent grows among others. The loyalty among his base is strong, making it clear that shifting public opinion remains a challenge for his critics. Thanks for tuning in. Please continue to watch for more detailed stories. The CBC paints a vibrant picture of Summerside's 4th annual DiverseCity Festival, a celebration that vividly showcases the rich tapestry of multiculturalism. Quincy Cumayas, a lively 10-year-old who recently arrived in Canada from the Philippines, takes center stage, her voice echoing the joy of cultural exchange as she sings at the event. Attendees like Said Akbar Sadat, originally from Afghanistan, serve traditional foods, sharing stories and flavors that bridge worlds. Hein Nguyen, a Vietnamese-born coordinator, revels in witnessing the diverse crowd, even if language barriers exist. His appreciation for melodies and dance unites everyone. This festival, part of a series of 7 summer events, exemplifies how food, music, and shared experiences foster understanding and friendship among islanders and newcomers alike, creating a lively mosaic of cultures at the Leffergy Cultural Center. The ABC offers a sobering account of the tragic consequences faced by Indonesian visitors in Australia, highlighting the urgent need to tighten international driver license regulations. Robby Yahya Bachtiar's heartbreak over his sister Armitha's death in a car crash underscores the peril faced by many Indonesian work and holiday visa holders, whose lack of familiarity with Australian roads often leads to fatal accidents. With at least 9 Indonesians dying and numerous others injured in recent crashes, community leaders and agencies are calling for stricter rules and mandatory insurance to prevent further tragedies. Stories like that of Chandra, who pleaded guilty to negligent driving after a fatal crash, serve as stark reminders of the dangers. Advocates emphasize the importance of driver education, employer responsibility, and improved support systems to safeguard these vulnerable workers navigating unfamiliar terrains. The Associated Press reports on the steadfast yet slowly declining support for Donald Trump as he campaigns for a second term, despite a year marked by rapid political and economic changes. Polls indicate that while Trump maintains a core base of loyal supporters, like 76-year-old Eric Hildenbrand from San Diego, his approval ratings hover around 40 to 42%, reflecting a complex landscape of opinions. Discontent grows over his handling of immigration and economic policies, with many Americans perceiving his approach as aggressive or unbeneficial. Nevertheless, his long-standing favorability, remaining within a narrow range over 5 years, reveals a resilient support system that endures through controversy and turmoil. Supporters like Brian Nichols trust in his leadership despite policy disagreements, illustrating how deep-rooted loyalty and perceptions of action continue to shape the political climate in a nation grappling with change. The Independent reports a disturbing incident at a California surgery center where 2 healthcare workers, Jose de Jesus Ortega and Danielle Nadine Davila, are facing federal charges for allegedly obstructing an ICE investigation. The footage reveals a masked agent forcefully grabbing a female staff member by her neck as she tries to intervene, shouting, "Let him go," and "Get out," amidst a heated altercation. The incident, which occurred when ICE agents attempted to detain a man who had sought refuge inside the clinic, underscores the intense and often controversial confrontations between law enforcement and civilians over immigration enforcement. The U.S. Attorney emphasized that assaulting agents or interfering with their work constitutes a federal crime, with potential sentences of up to 8 years in prison, highlighting the seriousness of such resistance and the ongoing tensions surrounding immigration policies in California, a state at the forefront of ICE activities. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation discusses the shifting attitudes toward immigration in Australia, a country historically known for its high migration levels supported by political and economic interests. Since the early 2000s, figures like Richard Alsop and Chris Berg have chronicled Australia's migration patterns, emphasizing the role of government policies in promoting high immigration to bolster the workforce, sustain economic growth, and address demographic challenges. However, recent voices from formerly supportive organizations like the Institute of Public Affairs, IPA, have begun criticizing high immigration rates, citing concerns over cultural preservation and social cohesion. Adam Creighton, the IPA's chief economist, notably warned that the current influx, mostly from developing nations, might threaten Australian cultural identity and strain social infrastructure, marking a significant ideological shift from past pro-immigration stances. This evolving narrative reflects a broader debate about Australia's population growth, integration, and the social implications of its immigration policies. The Sydney Morning Herald highlights US President Donald Trump's recent visit to Scotland, where protests erupted over his policies and controversial associations. Trump, staying at his Turnberry golf course amid diplomatic meetings, faced demonstrations with protesters waving placards and Scottish slang, criticizing his stance on immigration and his links to Jeffrey Epstein. During his visit, Trump expressed concerns about migration flows into Europe, claiming that this immigration is killing Europe, echoing his hardline anti-immigration rhetoric. Meanwhile, protests outside the U.S. consulate in Edinburgh reflected broader discontent over his policies, especially regarding Gaza and his perceived use of political influence for personal and business gains. The visit also rekindled debates about Trump's controversial legacy, with protesters condemning his approach to immigration, foreign policy, and human rights issues, while supporters and officials aimed to focus on diplomatic negotiations. Amidst security measures and media scrutiny, Trump's Scottish trip encapsulates the polarized global view of his leadership and policies. The Independent reports on the U.S. government's recent move to allocate over $600 million in FEMA grants aimed at expanding immigration detention facilities across the country. This initiative is part of a broader effort by the Trump administration to increase detention capacity and expedite deportations. Notably, funds are being directed toward constructing facilities like Florida's Alligator Alcatraz, a controversial detention center criticized for inhumane conditions and environmental and civil rights challenges. The government is also investing in a massive new detention center at an Army base in Texas, with a contract worth over $1.2 billion, reflecting a significant escalation in detention infrastructure. Meanwhile, FEMA's budget has faced cuts and legal challenges, with some disaster relief programs ending or being rejected, although recent emergency funds have been allocated to disaster-hit states, signaling a complex and fluctuating approach to federal emergency response and immigration enforcement. Deutsche Welle highlights the persistent racial and discriminatory roots embedded in U.S. immigration policy, long predating the Trump era. The article traces a history of exclusion, starting with the 1790 Naturalization Act, which limited citizenship to free white people, and extending through decades of policies that marginalized Asians, Africans, and Latin Americans. Despite modern rhetoric of the American dream, systemic barriers continue to prevent many non-white immigrants from attaining legal residency or citizenship. The piece emphasizes how discriminatory goals have historically shaped who is welcomed and who is kept out, often driven by a desire to maintain a specific ethnic makeup. This legacy of racial bias remains influential today, affecting decisions on immigration and the rights of those seeking to build lives in the United States. The Associated Press discusses President Donald Trump's claims about a purported $550 billion investment from Japan into the U.S., a figure that has garnered attention but remains uncertain and unconfirmed. Trump touts this as a major achievement, framing it as seed money that would benefit the U.S. significantly, with most profits returning to America. However, Japanese officials have not confirmed the specifics, emphasizing that negotiations are ongoing and that the figure might involve credit facilities rather than direct investment. The proposed investment aims to boost key industries such as critical minerals, pharmaceuticals, and shipbuilding, and includes commitments for Japan to purchase U.S. aircraft and rice, though details are still fluid. Critics and analysts warn that the actual impact of this investment, if it materializes, remains to be seen, and it underscores the broader political narrative Trump is promoting around economic gains and international trade deals. The Associated Press reports that over 50 federal immigration judges dismissed by the Trump administration are actively challenging their terminations through appeals and public advocacy. Many of these judges, like Jennifer Payton, who was appointed in 2016 and served as Assistant Chief Immigration Judge, believe their firing was unjust and motivated by political bias, including alleged gender discrimination and decisions that conflicted with the administration's hardline immigration stance. Payton, who was dismissed without explanation while on vacation, is appealing her case and criticizes the current Department of Justice for its departure from the values she once believed in, highlighting the broader turmoil and uncertainty faced by the approximately 600 remaining immigration judges amidst a backlog of 3.5 million cases. The Toronto Star details the rising tide of hostility toward immigrants in Alberta, where community advocates like Shamila Akram observe an increase in racial slurs, harassment, and racist narratives fueled by political debates and provincial panels scrutinizing immigration policies. Akram and others report that newcomers, especially women wearing hijabs, are experiencing heightened anxiety, verbal abuse, and even physical harassment in public spaces. Organizations like the Canadian Anti-Hate Network link this surge in hate speech to online hatred and inflammatory rhetoric surrounding immigration, which has prompted centers like Calgary's Centre for Newcomers to bolster security and crisis support. Provincial leaders, including Premier Danielle Smith, have sparked controversy by framing immigration as a strain on resources, while advocates emphasize the importance of education and respectful integration to combat the divisive narratives. The Toronto Star also shares the story of Camp Maple Leaf, a unique refuge for children from military families and those facing personal challenges such as PTSD, anxiety, or grief. For 9-year-old Rochelle Janfield, the camp offers a sanctuary where she can find solace among peers who understand her family's struggles, especially her father's PTSD. The camp's supportive environment fosters friendships, resilience, and self-advocacy through activities like canoeing, archery, and shared stories, emphasizing that friendship is a vital tool for healing and strength. Janfield's ongoing connection to the camp illustrates how such spaces provide not only a temporary escape but also a foundation for lifelong support, highlighting the importance of community and understanding in fostering resilience among vulnerable children. Deutsche Welle reports that Donald Trump, during his Scotland visit, issued a stark warning to Europe about immigration, describing it as an invasion that is killing Europe. He urged European nations to get their act together on immigration issues or risk losing their continent altogether. Trump's 5-day trip, which included playing golf at his resorts and meeting with UK and EU leaders, was marked by his outspoken criticism of renewable wind power, claiming wind turbines are killing the beauty of your country. His visit also drew protests, reflecting widespread unpopularity in Scotland, where a poll showed over 70% of Scots held unfavorable opinions of him. Associated Press details the tragic loss of life as at least 18 people have died trying to cross the English Channel from France this year. A recent incident involved a man found in cardiac arrest aboard a boat nearing Britain, which then turned back to French shores, highlighting the perilous nature of this migration route. French authorities are investigating these deaths, emphasizing the ongoing dangers faced by migrants attempting the dangerous sea crossing. This grim statistic underscores the continued human toll of migration challenges in Europe, with the Channel remaining one of the most perilous pathways for those seeking a better life in the UK. CNN covers the ongoing battle against excess baggage and the evolving airline policies in Europe. Ryanair's CEO, Michael O'Leary, revealed plans to increase bonuses for staff who identify and charge for oversized bags, aiming to combat the scourge of excess baggage. Meanwhile, the UK's EasyJet reportedly offers commissions to ground staff for spotting large bags, raising questions about airline practices. Additionally, the US is introducing a $250 visa integrity fee, which could further deter travelers amid declining visitor numbers, compounded by the US slipping in the global passport rankings. These developments highlight the complex and often contentious landscape of travel, migration, and airline policies across Europe and beyond. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6 debrief via email.